from the night team. A nation in mourning. But the city of light shining on as Boston stands with Paris.
We are all Boston in midst of this tragedy in Paris.
New details on an elaborate plot behind the terror in Paris.
And there's more news tonight. Gostkowski's kick. It's good! The undefeated season lives on. The Patriots are 9-0.
A last-minute field goal seals the deal for TB12 and the Pats.
Tom Brady does it again, leading the Patriots on another game-winning drive. New England getting some revenge against Tom Coughlin and the Giants.
But it wasn't all celebration. Julian Edelman limping off the field. So what's going on with his foot? We have the latest reports.
From big plays to the big celebrations, the night team has you covered.
Clouds clear out overnight. Temperatures get another boost tomorrow and then drop off for the middle of the week.
And now we're following a developing story. Weapons missing from a Worcester armory. Now the FBI is getting involved.
This is a late edition of 7 News at 11.
We begin with new developments on the terror in Paris, France. Fighting back, 2 ISIS targets have been destroyed in a massive series of airstrikes in Syria. The attacks centered on the capital of the Islamic State group. The attacks coming 2 days after multiple sites around Paris were attacked by terrorists, ISIS claiming responsibility for those attacks.
And the city remains on high alert tonight, still fearful of more attacks. Parisians are on edge after Friday's attacks. Mourners at a memorial site scrambling for their lives after people thought they heard gunfire. Police rushing to the scene. The incident turned out to be fireworks.
And tonight, forces all over Europe are on the hunt for an 8th suspect still on the run. Police releasing this photo of him. They say he's very dangerous. He's believed to be directly involved in Friday's deadly massacre.
One of the survivors seriously injured is a man with ties to Massachusetts. Arnaud Mir-Saman was shot in the lung and remains in a medically induced coma. Tonight, we're hearing from his father as he waits for information from overseas.
The death toll continues to climb, now at 132. More than 350 others are hurt, many of them seriously. The night team's John Coco joins us live with what we're learning tonight about these attacks.
France is now striking back against ISIS just days after the terror attacks in Paris. A wave of French warplanes take off, targeting ISIS strongholds in Syria. The raid included at least 10 fighter jets dropping 20 bombs. The operation was carried out in coordination with U.S. forces. This all comes just 2 days after the group claimed the attacks in Paris. They killed about 130 people. Meanwhile, in Paris, the display of calm and normalcy the city has tried to project after the mass murders.
It's hell. It's a nightmare. And people were hidden under dead bodies.
Interrupted Sunday evening. Panic breaking out in the streets of Paris at a memorial at one of the sites of Friday's terror attacks. Mourners were lighting candles and laying flowers when dozens of people began running after someone claimed to hear gunshots. Police fanned out with guns in their hands. It turned out to be a false alarm. A firecracker was said to have sparked the fear as the city remains tense while investigations into the recent attacks continue. According to French authorities, the panic ended quickly and police have cleared the memorial. This comes as French police put a face to one of the accomplices on the loose, issuing a wanted notice with a photo. The notice is for Abdesalam Salah, a 26-year-old man born in Belgium. Police say he's dangerous. Do not approach. A police official says the suspect rented a black Volkswagen, later found with 3 guns and empty magazines inside. Officials say there are strong links between the killers and ISIS members in Iraq and Syria. French authorities have now identified most of the 7 attackers' bodies. At least 3 were French. And new images have emerged of the chaos from Friday. This is the moment when the deadly massacre began. The band playing to a sellout crowd, then suddenly, gunfire. By the time of the gun battle, when French police stormed the hall, seen here in Time magazine video, 3 terrorists had killed 89 people. And NBC News has learned at least 4 of the attackers were from Belgium, where detectives were looking for the 8th suspect tonight. Live in the newsroom, John Coco, 7 News Night Team.
And President Obama ordering U.S. flags to be lowered to half staff at all federal buildings across the country, as well as at military and diplomatic stations throughout the world. Flags will be lowered until Thursday. The tragedy in Paris, a major topic at the G20 summit today in Turkey. President Obama there having what looks like a very intense meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, among others. A White House leader says the two leaders agreed there is a need for a political transition in Syria. They and other world leaders at the summit observed a moment of silence to pay tribute to the victims in Paris. The meeting between the world's 20 largest economies took on new importance after Friday's terror attacks.
Right now, a father on Martha's Vineyard is holding out hope after his son was shot during those terror attacks. He worked for the music company putting on the show at the concert hall that was the site of that hostage siege. Tonight, his father is speaking out about the attack, and his son is continuing to fight for his life. Jan Meersman's son Arno has finally come out of a coma after being shot in Paris during the attacks.
We've been very lucky. My son has been very lucky because a lot of people have been much worse off.
Jan lives on the vineyard, but his son works and lives in Paris. He produced the concert featuring the Eagles of Death Metal at the Bataclan on Friday night when the terrorists opened fire. Arno had left the concert hall to go get a drink.
But people started to run out of the concert hall and trying to hide in the cafe. So there was a bit of a chaos going on. And when he was in the cafe, he hadn't even realized he was shot. And then that's where, suddenly he realized he was in a lot of pain.
He was rushed to the hospital, but his dad back here in Massachusetts could not get any information.
The first thing we did was, a simple thing, just call a cell phone. And he wasn't answering, so we got a little anxious about that. And then it took us about 2 hours to find out from a friend that he had been wounded, but nobody knew where he was. And as you can imagine, it was total chaos over there. I mean, they were picking up the wounded and just dispatching them to different hospitals, but we didn't know where he was.
He said he's going to Paris this week to be with his son. He's expecting him to make a full recovery.
Mourners in Boston sending a powerful message to the victims in France, coming together to show their support after the senseless acts of terror. The Night Team's Chris Anderson has more on today's ceremony on the Boston Common.
In a city that knows all too well about pain and tragedy, the people of Boston coming together this Sunday to show solidarity with Paris.
People, around the world just came together united as one. We are all Boston, and in midst of this tragedy in Paris, we're all Paris.
I'd like to ask you for a minute of silence.
The governor, mayor, and other leaders joining France's consulate general and the hundreds of people who gathered in the Common for this moment of silence, many of them carrying French flags and holding flowers. The gathering also provided an opportunity for those from France now living in Boston to continue to heal.
Being together, as you can see today, as many people gather together to show support, that feels nice. It really helps.
So for me, it's important to gather with the people I know, with people that suffer like me, to have some comfort. It's like a gigantic hug.
The large crowd then walked across the Common to the bronze plaque of French soldier Marquis de Lafayette, where a makeshift memorial of candles and flowers was set up. The governor and mayor reminding everyone that Boston and the state of Massachusetts will always be there for France.
And I can promise you, speaking for the Commonwealth of Mass, that we stand with France, as we always will. Vive la France.
We're going to stand with the people of France and with Paris, and we said, the governor mentioned it, and the consul general mentioned it, the senator mentioned it. We're there if they need our help.
Chris Anderson, 7 News Night Team.
And here in Massachusetts, police across the state are stepping up security.
The State Police Division of Field Services increased its security around the area of the State House and other key places in Boston. State Police at Logan Airport are monitoring intelligence and have a comprehensive and multi-layered security plan in place. All of our public safety teams are working diligently to keep people safe here in the Commonwealth and are coordinating aggressively and constantly with our federal partners.
And police are emphasizing how important it is for the public to pay attention and speak up.
In Massachusetts right now, as the agent in charge said, don't see any viable threats to the city or the state. That being said, we need the public to be very much on their toes out there. Again, if they see something that doesn't look right, don't hesitate to call their local police, especially 911. You know, there's copycats out there, and I think we just, as we found out after the Boston Marathon, we all have to be on our toes.
And the commissioner commended state and federal departments for their cooperation.
Football stadiums and other major venues also stepping up security. They're staying on high alert, keeping spectators safe, including at MetLife Stadium in New York, where the Patriots play the Giants tonight. Stadiums across the country on high alert on Football Sunday.
I tell you can't have enough security.
Following the terrorist attacks in Paris on Friday, the NFL has increased security and police both inside and outside stadiums. The league saying in a statement, the safety of our fans, stadium personnel, and teams at all NFL games is our priority, and security at our games is robust. Fans we spoke with before the Patriots-Giants game say they understand the need for extra precautions.
There's certain rights that we have that people are trying to take away, and if there's a little bit more security that we have to go through, then it's worth it.
The added measures making fans feel a little bit safer, less than 72 hours after tragedy hit Paris, part of which was in a similar setting.
I feel pretty safe. There's a lot of state troopers everywhere. They get the metal detectors. They, search you, do the one and everything. So, I think it makes it safer.
And in addition to added security, stadiums had moments of silence for the victims before the start of each game. And make sure you stay with 7 News for the latest on the terror in Paris. We will be bringing you updates online, on air, and on your smartphone mobile app.
We are following some breaking news out of Revere. A 19-year-old seriously hurt after a possible road rage incident ended in a shooting. Now, police racing to the scene on American Legion Highway just after 8 p.m. were told the victim suffering from serious injuries but is in stable condition. No word yet on any arrests. The shooting does remain under investigation.
We're following a developing story. Weapons missing from a Worcester armory. Now the FBI is getting involved. It all stems from an overnight break-in at the Army Reserve Center.
And there are so many questions about how someone could have managed to get into that secured facility. The Night Team's Kelly O'Hara live in Worcester with the very latest. Kelly.
Yeah, good evening. The FBI says their top priority is to track down these weapons ASAP.
At a press conference about safety and security Sunday, 2 days after the attacks in Paris, Governor Baker revealing an alarming incident overnight.
A break-in at the Army Reserve Armory out in Worcester, which is now being investigated by the FBI.
The Worcester Armory broken into, and military weapons were stolen. But which ones and who did it remains unknown.
We're currently looking into it. We have some evidence response resources on scene as well as investigative capability.
The Army Reserve Center is next to UMass Memorial in a busy area just outside of the city. The Armory is surrounded by a fence with barbed wire. How anyone gained access over the weekend with such a strong perimeter, the FBI wouldn't comment. But they did say they don't believe this theft is terror-related.
Nothing at this point in time that would tie this to, any specific threat or anything else at this point.
And a spokeswoman for the FBI said earlier that the missing weapons are going to be entered into a database for law enforcement so they can search for them all across the country. Anyone with information is asked to call the FBI as soon as possible. In Worcester tonight, Kelly O'Hara, 7 News Night Team.
And we're following breaking news out of MetLife Stadium. A serious injury for Pats star Julian Edelman, the wide receiver, leaving tonight's big game after hurting his foot. The injury coming early, and the Pats really down to the wire win over the New York Giants.
Yeah, tonight Patriots Nation holding its breath, waiting for more information. Sports Director Joe Marcino is live in the newsroom with these breaking details. Joe.
The news is not good on Julian Edelman, but it could be worse. The Patriots' #1 receiver has a broken foot, a broken bone in his left foot. He's expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks, but the team is hopeful that he'll be back in time for the playoffs. Edelman left the game at the end of the first quarter. Multiple reports tonight that he suffered a broken 5th metatarsal, the bone on the outside of his left foot, the same bone the Cowboys' Des Bryant broke earlier this season and missed 6 weeks. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Edelman will have surgery tomorrow. Again, the Patriots are hopeful he will be back in time for the playoffs. What a game at MetLife Stadium. Brady and Eli Manning meet again. Eli victorious in the previous 3, not today. Patriots down 23-17 in the fourth quarter. Rob Gronkowski fixes that. The catch. He makes 2 defenders miss here and takes it 76 yards. The longest TD of his career. Patriots up 24-23. Now, after picking off Tom Brady, the Giants were forced to settle for a field goal. Josh Brown good from 29 yards out with under 2 minutes to go. And the Giants were up 26-24. So here we go. Patriots on the game-winning drive. 4th and 10. They need it. Brady to Danny Amendola. A gain of 11, a first down, and the Patriots had new life. And then with under 20 seconds left on the clock, again, Brady looking for Amendola, gets them into field goal range. A gain of 9 down to the 36 after spiking the ball to stop the clock. 6 seconds remaining. Steven Gostkowski lining up from 54 yards out. He's got it. Clutch. The Patriots stay perfect with a 27-26 win. 7's Alex Cordry reporting live from MetLife Stadium with more on the Patriots comeback win. Alex.
Hey, Joe, if the Patriots needed a win to build character, boy, did they get it today. They responded to any adversity that came their way and received big plays all over the field.
You know, we talked about it before the game. It was, play hard for 60 minutes, and it took every last second.
And some late game heroics. Steven Gostkowski coming up clutch with his 7th career game-winning kick. The Patriots survived with a 27-26 victory at MetLife Stadium and remain undefeated.
Defense made some great plays there to give us, some opportunities. So I was glad they hung in there all day against a very good offense.
Determination, situational football, it was a great win, man. That's all I can say about it. Great win, one of the second toughest comebacks I ever been in.
After getting off to a rough start, Malcolm Butler's confidence grew as the game went on and made a huge play on Giant star wideout Odell Beckham Jr., knocking the ball loose from his hands.
If I would gave up after that play, the game could have been different, but it's all about finishing. How you start is how you finish.
The Patriots advanced to 9-0, but it's not all good news. Will injuries finally become a tipping point for the team after losing Julian Edelman during the game with a foot injury?
He means a whole lot to the offense. Hopefully he comes back ASAP. Hopefully he's right back out on the field, but he means a whole lot for sure, and hopefully he's back as soon as possible.
And this is another major blow to a Patriots team that's dealing with several injuries. Just last week, they lost their dynamic running back Dion Lewis for the season. At MetLife Stadium, Alex Cordry, 7 News Night Team. Joe?
Coming up on Sports Extra tonight, now what? Julian Edelman out, Dion Lewis out. Do the Patriots have enough weapons to go the distance? Fred Smerlas, Tim Fox, and Dan Shaughnessy join us in studio in just a few minutes. Reporting live in the newsroom, Joe Amorosino, 7 News Night Team.
Gotta love that. Pats fans celebrating across the area and in the sky. Check out this celebration on board a JetBlue flight heading from Orlando to Boston during tonight's game. The Pats will look to go 10-0 next Monday night when they take on the Bills at home. That kind of looks like our newsroom when that happened, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, so much cheering. It was very nerve-wracking, but in the end, we got it done.
It's fun to watch on the JetBlue flight. You have the TV right there.
Yeah, everyone's watching the same screens. Up next from the night team, trouble on the tarmac. A Boston-bound flight put under investigation in D.C. Police swarming that plane. It's a story you saw first on 7.
And we've got to get to that forecast. If you like today, you'll love tomorrow, but then a big dip in temperatures to follow. That's coming up next.
And a disturbing discovery at a Rhode Island home. What police say they found after the home went up in flames. It's a story you saw first here on 7. A plane headed to Boston running into some trouble on the tarmac. Police sweeping that plane after passengers complaining about some suspicious behavior.
Passengers were forced to evacuate American Airlines Flight 2124 while the plane was still at the gate at Reagan Airport in D.C. Police dogs searching that plane. In the end, they did not find anything suspicious. Passengers telling us they were relieved when they finally touched down at Logan Airport just before 7 tonight.
No, we were totally happy because we knew the flight was safe. So they checked it from top to bottom, and I know the pilots wouldn't have let it take off.
We've learned that 2 men were questioned by police but have since been released. And an airline representative says they will be put on a later flight to Boston.
There is more news here tonight. Police in Rhode Island searching for suspects after making a deadly discovery during a fire in Cranston. A pregnant woman found dead inside that burning home. And tonight investigators say it could be murder. Local and state officials in Rhode Island back at this home in Cranston talking with neighbors about what they know about Friday night's suspicious fire. The only visible sign of damage from the outside was this busted window.
There was like 5 or 6 people around them and they went into the ambulance and then they drove off.
We know that the person taken away in the ambulance was 32-year-old Alyssa Collins. She, along with her unborn baby, were pronounced dead at Rhode Island Hospital. Cranston police say after the fire started, a witness saw a man running away from the home. He was wearing an orange or red hooded sweatshirt and black shorts. Collins lived on the 3rd floor apartment with a roommate, but police have not said whether her roommate was there when the fire started. Because of the suspicious nature of the fire and deaths, detectives say they are investigating the incident as a possible homicide. Now they wait for the autopsy results that should reveal the cause of Collins and her baby's death. And anyone with information is asked to call police right away.
The temperatures this week will take us on a little bit of a roller coaster, and we're looking for some rain by the end of the week. The forecast is coming up next.
Now, 7 Weather with meteorologist Bree Eggers.
Yesterday was certainly a reminder that it is the middle of November, but today, beautiful lighter winds, a boost in temperatures, and we got to cap it off with fantastic sunset all across the board. Some of those clouds still sticking around with us, but gradual clearing overnight, plus winds that have been letting up all day, and they are quite calm at this point, will allow for those temperatures to drop back a couple more degrees. We're already in the mid-30s as you get into Bedford, Norwood as well. 52 for the city of Boston. Overnight tonight, again, mostly clear skies. Those temperatures just a touch above freezing in the coolest suburban spots, and then closer to the city, 44 degrees. Winds stay light, but a light breeze with us tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies and a touch of a boost in temperatures, 52 to 58. I think this will be the mildest day that we get throughout the entire week, because look what happens as we get into Monday night, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Backdoor cold front, cooler air drops in from the north, and we are in for a dip in temperatures. This front will be dry, but then we turn our attention toward a good chance of some widespread rain as we get into late this week. It looks like Thursday, overnight Thursday into Friday as well, and we could use every drop that we get. Highs tomorrow in the low 50s for Worcester, mid to upper 50s elsewhere. Again, a nice day with mostly sunny skies, but look what happens as we make it into Tuesday. Very similar to our highs of yesterday, but the one benefit is, again, lots of sunshine and lighter winds. It will not feel as blustery as it did yesterday. Here's a look at my 7-on-7 forecast. The winds are back with us as well once we get that front moving through with that rain on Thursday and Friday. We'll use every drop we can get. Dry again next weekend with those temperatures more seasonable. Have a great night.
Coming up next on Sports Extra, why it was so close at MetLife Stadium today, how the Giants attacked the Patriots secondary, and how other teams may try to copy what they did. Also, the latest on Julian Edelman, the report that he will have surgery tomorrow, and what this means for the Patriots. We keep saying next man up. Well, who's next after Danny Amendola? That's tonight on Sports Extra.
That's it for 7 News today. Thank you for staying up with us. I'm Nancy Chen.
I'm Ryan Schulteis. Sports Extra with Joe Marcino is next. Have a great night, everybody.